Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Tuesday, September 30th, last day of September 2025, in the year of the Lord Christ. All right, how is everyone doing? Sorry. I got two screens, three screens actually, including the laptop screen, right? So I got a lot of freaking cables connected to it. When are we going to have that wireless everything, huh? Everything wireless, man. We need everything wireless. All right. It's like, when are we able to charge our phones wirelessly instead of have to plug them in, right? Um, well, we do have wireless charging, right? Wireless charging, wireless charging. However, um, how do you do that? Well, actually, you plug in something in the socket at the outlet, and the phone basically detects power source, and that's how it charges. I know I'm not I have no fucking idea. I'm not an expert on this, all right? However, we have that technology, all right? Sorry, let me just adjust my screen again. All right. Um, I have a feeling it's raining outside. Is that what it is? Or am I hallucinating? Because I heard something. Oh my God, the window is open. Jesus Christ, I had to close that. That's why I have the sound from the freaking metal factory. I'm sorry, hold on a second. I apologize. And there we go. That's it. Sorry about that. Yeah. I don't want to hear the stupid sound from the scrap metal factory, So in any case, I picked up my wife from the airport, LaGuardia. Not LaGuardia, sir. What are we talking about? Newark Liberty International, which is basically in our backyard. So 15 minutes away, right? And her flight was at night, obviously, right, arrival. But then they basically kept them, and this is the fucking problem, right, at Newark. She came through Turkish Airlines through Istanbul, and the flight actually arrived on time, even like 10 minutes before. But then they basically kept them. They kept the passengers like an hour inside the plane on the fucking runway, taxi, right? And I'm going up and down. We are on the phone talking, right? When is it moving? When is it moving? Oh, it's like an hour, like a headless chicken. I'm walking up the stairs, taking the elevator down, sitting at the fucking Starbucks. And then finally, she came out at the international arrival, and I'm happy that she's back home, obviously, right? And in airports like Newark, but I mean, just imagine that Newark has been actually rebuilt. Doesn't mean anything, all right? I think the number of gates are the same. Don't quote me on this one, but it's still, I mean, not as bad as like a third world country airport like JFK. JFK is the worst, although it's huge, but it's worse, all right? But still, Newark is small, but it has those fucking problems of gate not being available or some technical, I have no fucking idea, dude. But in any case, without going too uh, much into this and wasting time, it just that we got home, late because of that, and obviously, she has jet lag and she will have to adjust next couple of days. But I'm happy that she's home, you know, and I'm not a lunatic anymore. Mm-hmm. In any case, so uh, what else is going on? Same old, same old. End up, another horror. You know, did you do your taxes? My accountant still has to do my personal taxes, our personal taxes, me and my wife's. You know, and it's not that easy, although it gives you a lot of flexibility to run a company, and I've been doing this for 13 years now, right? Almost 12 years. But you have to make sure, especially in states like New York and New Jersey, extremely bureaucratic, right? In terms of taxes, the labor and this and that, right? Oh my fucking God. And then I changed my payroll company, and that probably fucked up something as well, right? All right, I don't want to get into the details, but at the same time, as much as the flexibility this is to run a company, it's also a headache, right? Keep things simple. Keep things simple as possible, right? And we are busy, which is good, as was predicted that after summer, even right after, like even during like summer, like holidays, August, we were busy, we're getting busy. Hopefully, we're gonna get busier. you know. And a balance of life, all right? Always I have to talk about that. Balance of fucking life, right? Between your friends, between your work, between your family, between your, significant other. You have to keep a balance, all right? You can't school one to one side. Yeah, work, sometimes you have to do that, and you should do that, all right? Partying, no, right? And so, um, if you try to keep the balance, that will actually keep your life simpler and better. All right. So even the last Sunday night, I ended up watching the whole fucking entire game, last one. The Cowboys and what is the Cowboys and the Packers, right? Green Bay Packers, Wisconsin. And at the end of the day, at the end of the fucking night, you realize, what the hell am I doing? It ends up, it ends up being like too much fun, and then just too many fucking beers, and I just can't do that. The Sunday thing, I'm not doing that. No. All right. The only night I'm gonna go out with friends is Friday night. That's it. You know. Um, I'm gonna watch football. If I have to, I'll watch it at home. All right. That's a given. Right? My wife's looking at me like, oh really? You sure that? No, no, I just can't. I'm sorry. Okay. Um, it also is your health, sir. You're not 26 anymore. I mean, forget 26, right? You're not 42 anymore or 39 anymore, right? with sciatica, up and down. Jesus fucking Christ. All right. So that's all. All right. I'm just, being self-critical and at least even late in my life because I have just, you know, by choice or by not by no choice or by the way of the fucking society, Western society and everything, right? And that was my routine. I mean that becomes a routine for a lot of people. And and you have to realize that you have to do it for yourself first. Okay, that's if it's affecting you, if it's affecting your health or whatever, personally first you have to do it for yourself, and then you can do it for others. All right, and I'm just preaching it to myself, no other choir I'm preaching to. All right, and in the Western world, freedom and just individualism, it's the what do you call hallmark of living. I'm saying, all right, and which is good. Some people basically don't want to deal with other people, and they just want to live by themselves. And it's like, all right, it's just what it is. But to do that, you have to basically make up your mind. And obviously, I was going to go that route right after COVID, but then I said, you know what? I got to, I got to live my life. And somebody said that right on a radio show. This life is not to live alone, I think, or spend the entire life alone. And I'm not saying that I'm needy. Maybe I am at this point in time. I love my wife, and I can't imagine like living without her. You know, and I mean, relationships have their own ups and downs, and that's a given. All right, but you got to basically keep your love strong. That's what keeps the relationship strong, all right? I mean, I'm not an expert on relationships, but obviously, this is for both of us. This is, something we have to keep it cherished, strong, and everything else in between. All right, what am I being sentimental over here? Well, I mean, it's all part of life. We are fucking emotional beings. Are we emotional beings? Yeah. Yeah, we are robots, but at the same time, we have emotions. Okay. Where do they come from? Well, from, whatever, biochemistry in our brain, right? Neurochemistry. And then the society, you know. And I had to quote something that what's the name said yesterday. Yesterday? Oh, Rick Strassman, the guy who actually wrote the DMT as the spirit molecule. DMT is the spirit molecule. He's the guy who actually experimented with the federal government's funding on DMT, which is one of the most powerful psychedelics. Um, I've never done DMT, but I've done ayahuasca, which is basically DMT, but ayahuasca is basically you ingest, you drink it. And what the hell I was going to talk about when I mentioned um, Rick Strassman, right? Oh, he basically, I think I have to actually I have to get all these books and I have to start reading these. All right. Problem is that I used to read books on psychedelics a lot. I've done a lot of research, uh, even before I took mushroom, But regardless, all right. So this is the point I was trying to make. All right, that we are what our brain chemistry is. All right, and the circumstances and what we eat, what we ingest. So that makes us animals, biological machines, right? And if you actually leave aside, the emotions and you know, the garbage maybe you have been carrying from your childhood, whatever trauma or whatever sexual abuse, whatever the fuck, right? Uh, or not a good relationship with your whatever parents are, just whatever the fuck it is, right? Or all those are memories, and those memories, you know, obviously stay in your fucking brain unless you can come up with a pill that actually erases all the bad memories, keep the good ones, right? And oh, this is where I was going. So Rick Strassman and Joe Rogan's discussion. Oh, okay, so Joe Rogan is he's a fucking great podcaster, and because I've listened to a lot of like Terence McKenna, he was behind the whole psychedelic movement in the 90s, right? Where he was trying to figure out what the hell that the whole experience is, right? Is that some sort of other realm? And this is what they were talking about. And when you do something like DMT, you realize, well, first of all, you question, right? You question, what the fuck am I, right? Under a dome. I mean, ayahuasca doesn't give you that experience, but under the dome, and you have to smoke it or you have to intravenous, right? And Rick Strassman was doing intravenous research at University of New Mexico under the federal government's funding, right? And then that's how he wrote that book. But um, if that whole experience, that whole dome and the machine elves, right? Elves that you meet in that realm, which you can't even explain what the hell they are in human language, right? If there's something that's within us, actually, that means that we are the universe, right? So that means that we are basically connected to everything. Our brain somehow has this capability to connect to the machinery of how this fucking universe, which is physical, and the non-physical, machinery behind, uh, the whole matter and time and all that, right? Time, I'm not sure, but what actually is behind all this? I think GMT somehow opens that curtain, all right? It drops that curtain. I mean, it lifts that curtain and it shows you, and you're like, what, right? And and that may be true that there is some sort of a force or energy, whatever I mean, people call it God or whatever, the universe, or and if that's something, we are our human brain, because our human brain is the most evolved brain among all the primates and every living thing on this planet, all right? Then that means that somehow our brain, our biological brain, our neurochemistry, somehow has this capability to connect with the universe, not in the physical three-dimensional, you know, space, but also in non-physical, whatever the fuck through, and then you realize, oh, that's the fucking DMT realm, right? Or the you or the world, whatever you call it. And and the other amazing thing, I don't want to quote his podcast, but he was saying that, and that's actually fascinating, is that when you are in that realm and when you try to look down, right? You are on DMT and you try to look down and you see the code, as in like binary code. And that's also fucking weird because if that's the case, then this universe is some sort of a code. All right. Um, and that's just not in our brain. All right. So somehow our brain opens our mind opens that non-physical realm in that state of mind. All right. In that state of mind, our mind does that. So uh, the other thing they were talking about is that, oh, the Kundalini yoga does that. All right. What is Kundalini yoga? Look it up. I'm not going to look it up on the phone, right? I can't do a long podcast. Saturday, 20 minutes, 21 minutes. I'm sorry, because my wife is tired and we're going to watch something. But this whole, I think this whole, quest for human quest for what is this whole thing. I think you can somehow try to you can somehow have a grasp on it, but either through a powerful psychedelic like DMT, or you have to do a lot of like hardcore yoga, like Kundalini yoga, meditation, whatever the hell it is, right? Then you can connect. So so just to close that thought, right? If that's the case, then when you are actually in that realm, are you going to basically be meeting other entities from another fucking, planet? I think that maybe that may be what it is. But the actual universe, what is holding this, right? The gravity and the most fundamental particles and all those may be somehow those machines, all right? And those are the ones that hold this whole thing, and and where do the angels and demons come from in there? All right, I have no fucking idea. They were talking about that too, but I just didn't pay too much attention to that. All right, that there may be some, I mean, this whole idea of good and evil, has been there since the beginning of, the dawn of ages, dawn of apes, right? Um, But then I guess if somebody is evil in this fucking universe, it's because of their upbringing, their harsh whatever. And then what are the fucking SSRIs? What are the fuck? I mean, look at these fucking shootings and all that. And I got kind of sort of like Sunday night, I got kind of like worked up as well because I was thinking too much about that kid who got shot, and now his wife is left with young, whatever the hell his name, Charlie Kirk, and now his wife is left with two young kids. What are they going to think? And I was just thinking about that too much, and I'm like, fuck. And then I just like, at some point in time, I'm like, that's not your problem, man. And see how we actually are, what our circumstances and what everybody's circumstances in life makes them. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to get into that discussion. All right. So positive note. All right. Positive note is that there are ways to actually find the answer to the unknown question. All right. I don't have time. Maybe I'm not doing it. Maybe I'm too scared. That's the other thing. All right. Somebody was telling me to do DMT a couple of years ago, a few years ago, even before, I think, right at the time I was getting married. And they were telling me that's the most spiritual experience. Um, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should, although I've done ayahuasca. Because I'm a guy who is always looking for shortcuts. I'm not going to like spend years and years on Kundalini yoga. All right. Um, but I think our mind and our brain somehow naturally is inclined to find somehow for our own satisfaction, right? Inner satisfaction, the answers to those questions. All right, everyone. Did I actually go into another realm of fucking whatever the hell I was talking about? But these are extremely interesting topics, all right? As much as fucking AI and all that is. And I'm pretty sure, people are trying to find connection, yeah, of AI to this thing, right? I'm talking about yoga and all that, right? And at some point in time, so you realize, oh, you don't need anything. You don't even need a red pill or blue pill. Uh, in any case, all right, everyone. What else is going on? So, end of September, we don't have any plans. My wife just came. Welcome back home. She's tired. You want to say something? And I assume you all are healthy and happy. Oh, the health part, man. The health fucking part. I have to. I think I have to start doing something. Um, some physical activity. We did play some golf as well last Sunday. Was that Sunday or Saturday? Saturday. And I could feel that my coordination is just fucked up. You know, hand coordination. But in any case, I don't want to sound sentimental. It's all part of life. I mean, we all fucking fall apart. What can we do? Just you just have to be careful. I guess I didn't care. I became careless somehow, and then I'm too skinny, and I don't have a lot of, muscle. So, um, in any case, all right. Did I leave you guys on a positive note or negative note? How about weather is still good? Fall. You're gonna see fall colors. We're gonna do that. I think we're gonna take a trip up there. New York State has one of the most amazing fall colors. Upstate New York, it has some like it just leaves are I know it's leaves, but the colors are just fucking amazing, all right? Anywhere from magenta to what? Ultraviolet. Um, yeah, we will plan something in October. Actually, me and my friends, we were talking about that, and I'm glad my wife is here. We're gonna maybe day trip. All right. So, again, I presume you all are having a great start of the week. I'll see you all next